Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. Today, my Zulrah guide. Also known as the Money Snake, Zulrah was released in January of 2015 as one of the very first original bosses in the game. Despite this, some players still have trouble defeating it, so today I am going to show you how to do it for a single KC for the Hard Western Diary, all the way up to camping it with maxed gear for the best payout possible.
Okay, boys and girls, you know the drill, subscribe and like the video, otherwise bad RNG for the rest of the year, right? Enjoy the video.
And join our Discord server with the link in the description below if you're looking for more tips related to Zulrah or just the game in general. If you didn't know, Zulrah was one of the most botted places in the history of the game because it didn't really have any hard requirements to kill it. Nowadays it still doesn't, but any efficient method of transportation to the shrine requires completion of the Regicide quest. We will cover how to get there in a little bit, but this is really all you need for it. Now, as always, I will show you two ways of defeating Zulrah, both of which have their own recommended levels and gear. For a single kill, you'll be fine with semi-ranged, and you can do it with lower, but it's just going to take way longer. Now, if you want to camp Zulrah instead, 75 ranged and magic are needed. You won't need 77 prayer until you unlock Rigor and Augury, so make them your #1 priority when you make enough money here. The bare minimum I recommend for your single KC consists of an imbued magic shortbow with rune arrows, blessed dragonhide pieces, Avos accumulator, an amulet of glory, and an absolute must is a ring of recoil for something I will explain during the mechanics. Since we are going for just 1 KC, take a Divine Wrenching Potion, Anti-Venom, 2 or 3 Prayer Potions, an Emergency Teleport, and fill the rest of your inventory with food. When you decide you want to give this boss a more serious try, level up to 75 ranged and magic, and bring a Blowpipe with a Trident of the Seas. And we are going to pair that up with Void Pieces for less switches to learn. And then upgrade to an Avos Assembler and an Amulet of Fury. You will take your switches in the inventory, as well as the same potions we covered before. Take an Emergency Teleport with food, and you're good to go. When you start improving, upgrade your Void Armor to Blessed Dragonhide and then Aram's Robes. When you make even more money, people find Bofa-only Zulrah to be pretty chill. So, take your Bow and Crystal Armor along with the same setup of potions, teleports and food. You'll notice that so far, all methods have the Draven Staff in the inventory as well as an Arty Cloak. This is so we can use the Fairy Ring code to get there, which is the next segment. But for now, time to show you something spicy. When you become a billionaire Giga Chad, it doesn't get any better than a Twisted Bow with Masori and a Tunican Shadow with Ancestral. We will take a rune pouch with the Book of the Dead, 4 Thralls and the Death Charge, and then Zulrah teleports to close out the inventory. You may also bring switches for headgear, but you're gonna need to bring an Anti-Venom. Now, let's quickly talk about how to get there. If you have a lot of cash, buy Zulrah teleports, which will take you just a few tiles away from the starting area. If you opt for the Draven Staff and Arty Cloak combo, you are going to take the nearest Fairy Ring available and type the Fairy Ring code BJS. The final option is to teleport to a place like Camelot or Catherby, go to the charger ship, and then travel all the way to Port Tyrus and then run southeast. This is extremely painful though, so please try to do it at least with a Fairy Ring. When it comes to plugins, the Zulrah Helper plugin is absolutely crucial for you to start learning this boss. To give you some words of encouragement, I still use this plugin up to kill count 500 or so, and if you find anyone who shames you for using it, they probably got bullied when they were kids, so no shame in using it. I also recommend both the boost information and the timers in order for you to see when the effect of your potions will wear off. This is great if you want to maximize damage and of course acts as a nice visual aid on your screen. Last but not least, we have ground markers for you to mark what tiles to stand on throughout the fight. Other than that, just activate the ones you use when bossing. Alright, let's talk about the mechanics. The very first one is something completely unique to Zulrah, and that is because it features 4 different rotations. And this is exactly where the plugin comes in handy. At the beginning of the kill, it's going to spawn in the middle, and then it's going to move around giving you an idea of what rotation it chose. The other important mechanic is that every time Zulrah emerges from the swamp, it will have a different color representing what attack style to use and what it is going to be weak to. Green Zulrah will attack with ranged, and it's best to attack it with magic. Blue Zulrah will attack with both magic and ranged, and it is best to attack it with ranged. And the red Zulrah will attack with melee, and it is best to attack it with mage. When Zulrah is green, protect ranged all the way through. The tricky part is that when Zulrah turns blue, you want to bring magic, but it can also attack with ranged, which you will just have to tank. When Zulrah turns red, depending on where you are in the rotation, stand next to the pillars to avoid damage, or simply walk 2 tiles away when it starts moving its tail. If you don't, it will hit you with melee and will stun you for a few seconds, which is extremely annoying. We also have 2 important events that will happen throughout the fight. One is that Zulrah will throw venom clouds on the arena, and if you step on them, it will rapidly damage and venom you, so you will need to sip an anti-venom. If you're wearing a Serpentine helmet, you will only take light damage. For the second one, Zulrah will throw out white projectiles around the arena, which will turn into little snakelings. They have 1 HP, and if you're wearing a Ring of Recoil or a Ring of Suffering, they will instantly die the moment they damage you. If you're on the Kaoz spellbook, this is when you want to cast a Death Charge to recover 15% of your special attack energy. The final thing to note is that if the fight takes long enough, you should keep an eye out for the Zulrah Helper plugin. At one point, the dot will be both blue and green, and this means that Zulrah entered what is known as a Jad phase, and it's going to alternate between ranged and magic attacks. When this is done, it will move 1 more time, and then go to the middle for another rotation. Just look at the first attack and then switch prayers accordingly. Before we get into the live kills, it is important to mention that I will talk you through the fight in both minimum and maximum gear, but I am not going to be covering each of the 4 rotations. Instead, I will have the plugin open at all times, clicking on what Zulrah faces next so you know where to go and what attack style to use. It may seem daunting at first, but trust me, your muscle memory will eventually pick up on it. So boys and girls, let's see how to defeat the Money Snake. Okay, so it's time to get your first Zulrah KC for the diary, and the gear and inventory are looking as follows. Number 1, the Ring of Recoil, just for 1 KC is gonna work just fine. If you are planning on camping this long term, the Ring of Suffering is absolutely necessary in my opinion. Quick magic shortbow imbued, the scroll is pretty cheap. And an Avas Assembler, well if you don't have one of course the accumulator is gonna work just fine. Amulet of Glory, and in the inventory I have emergency teleport, a teleport near a fairy ring. Imagine this is a Drayman staff, and then we have the Divine Raging Potion and the Venom Prayer, and the rest will be for the food. So I am going to sip on my Divine Raging Potion, and this will be the only video where you can see my sidebar on Runelite, because this is how the plugin works. So the very first thing you want to do is go all the way here, and you want to activate whatever prayer you have available. If you don't have Rigor, of course, Eagle Eye is going to give you that little bit of extra DPS that's going to come in handy. And by coming in handy, as you will see, this is probably going to be the longest part of the video, because my damage here is probably not going to be the best. Now, what happens here? Zulrah is now green, drink your anti-venom, and now I am going to click on the part, or on the tile, whatever, where Zulrah is green and went to the left. This is what's going to give me the rotations, and it is going to tell you where you need to stand, which is going to be represented by the X, and where Zulrah is going to go, represented by the color of the dot. Now, as you can see, it is now red, and I need to go all the way to the other side of the, like, what the fuck do you call those, like, the horseshoe, I think it is. And as you can tell, my damage is not good whatsoever. So when I feel like I have explained enough, I'm just gonna like speed the rest of the kill. And as you can see, it's just going to be management of where to stand, where to go to, what to pray, and that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna stand here. Whenever the cloud disappears, I am going to stand on this tile, and as you can see, it can also do ranged attacks, which are pretty devastating. I believe the max hit is about 40, and trust me, I haven't comboed 35 into 40, and there's nothing you can do about it, other than, you know, pretty much tick it, which it's not great. Now, I think I'm going to speed this up, and I'm going to talk to you when the Jad phase hits, and what is the Jad phase? Well, you will see it in just a second. Okay, so when Zulrah hides for that last time, what's going to happen is that it's going to start with one attack, and then you want to go to the next one, and then the next, and then the next. You want to have the prayer active as, like, you know, before the attack is launched, otherwise you're going to eat up the damage, and you're not really going to have a good time. What happens after this, quote-unquote, the Jad phase is over? Well, Zulrah will hide again, and as you can see, it will be in the middle. After these, maybe final phase, I would call it, it is going to reset, and as you can see, after these few attacks, it will go back to green phase, which now you actually need to pray, and you're gonna click on the reset button, and well, it's just literally time to see, or I guess it will be a matter of seeing where it is going to go next, and it's going to fill up the arena with a poison. Now, if you think this is a bad kill, well, I mean, with my gear inventory, this, as you can tell, is not going to be great. Now, it is going to do this one, we just move away, and boys and girls, we just need to do that all over again in order to get your very first Zulrah KC. So, I'll see you for the loot. So, after all your troubles for that one Zulrah KC, we get Zoolander Teleport. This one is pretty much one of the best drops that you can get. But speaking about drops, it is now time to get sweaty. And I'm gonna show you how I personally do this, which is a lot more fun than killing this in 4 minutes. Now, for the absolute gamers, this is what the gear can go up to, and like I said before, you can swap out the Serpentine for Ancestral and Masori Mask, but personally, I'm perfectly fine with this. The kills are going to be disgustingly fast, and it quite literally does not make a difference. So this is what I take, and before I go into Zulrah, I will take my Bastion Potion, activate the Saturated Hard, and I'm going to wear the Accursed Scepter and have the Special ready, because the Special is going to make it, so you kind of deal more damage in a way that's going to be slightly more accurate, and as long as you are, well, I mean, as soon as you are here in the Shoe Horse, you're going to activate your Thrall, your Quick Prayers, which are not right now what they should be, do the Special, come back, and just literally activate Augury for now, which is going to be a lot, well, not a lot better, but it's going to give you slightly more accuracy. As you can see, the hits with the Shadow are disgusting, and yeah, this will go by pretty quick. So it is now blue. At this point, I don't really need the plugin, but I'm just kind of showing you because I was using it all the way up to like maybe 500 kills. My memory is not the best. So yeah. Alright, now what's going to happen here, I am going to use a Death Charge, because when these snakes kill themselves, they are basically going to give you absolutely free damage, and as you can see, I'm getting absolutely destroyed. This is Zulrah at its finest, you know, especially during the blue phase. Now, I completely forgot to switch here, but as long as you have a T-bow, it quite literally doesn't matter. Like, you're doing so much damage that's actually pretty insane. And Zulrah should be dead there, and I am going to eat up right now. That's fine. So, yeah, the loot is kind of okay, and especially for these 1 minute and 8 seconds, 55 seconds, my PB being 41 with the Slayer task. This is a lot of fun when you have all of this jacked gear. So, yeah, this is it for the Rag and the Best in Slot gear kills, and I will see you guys for the rest of the guide, which I haven't even recorded, so feels kind of awkward. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Alright, Scapers, I hope that made it easier and gave you enough confidence to get started on your first Zulrah kill, or even learn more to camp it further. Just like all my other boss guides, here I have a short list of tips so you can maximize your kills. The first one is that, just like you saw for all the fight examples, you should always start by running to this side of the arena. Zulrah's next phase will always spawn either in the middle or to your left if you position the camera like this, so it is a great place to go to at the beginning. If you care about speed or quick resets, take a Desert Amulet 4 paired with your Zoolander teleports. By going to Narda, you can pray at the Elitness statue to fully heal your stats, which is faster than the Ornate pool in your POH because of the delay when teleporting there. If you're having a lot of trouble beating Zulrah, bring Blood Barrage to heal you when it turns green. You won't be dealing a ton of damage, but it's going to help secure the kill if you're low on food. This won't hurt your DPS too much since it takes 5 ticks to cast as opposed to the 4-tick trident weapons. If you bring a blowpipe or a serpentine helmet, you can save an extra inventory slot by removing either item and using the Zulrah scales you get as a drop on them. It will charge the item, and then you can remove the scales by uncharging them, and then sell them for profit. The Snakelings have a max hit of 15. Pair that up with Zulrah's max hit of 41, and if you want to avoid sudden death, you should always stay above 56 HP. But like I said during the live kill, I have been hit for 40 to 35, so ideally you want to tick eat ranged attacks. And speaking of staying healthy, one thing I didn't mention is that if you are lower HP and defense, bring a few Karambwans for combo food in case you start getting demolished by Zulrah and the Snakelings to heal up even more. For the final tip regarding food, you should learn how to tick eat, which means eating food right before damage is calculated. This just in case Zulrah deals lethal damage and you can stay alive. In short, time you healing on the same tick as when Zulrah's damage lands, and you should survive. So when it comes to Zulrah and pretty much any boss, GP per hour will depend on how many kills you are able to achieve in that same time. One Zulrah kill is worth around 100,000 GP on average. When you are more comfortable with switches and rotations, you can expect a minimum of 15 KC per hour, bringing in a total profit of about 1.5 mil. When testing this method with my own setup, I was able to land the 38 kills in that same time, nearing the 4 mil GP threshold. This doesn't take supplies into account. For uniques we can sell, we are looking at the Tanzanite Fang, the Magic Fang, the Serpentine Visage, and an Uncut Onyx. For untradables, you can snag the highly sought after Tanzanite or Magma Mutagens, which will give a different look to your Serpentine helmet. But keep in mind that these are like 1 in 6.5k on average. As for untradables, we have the Elite Clue Scrolls with a drop rate of 1 in 75, and the Pet Snakeling coming in at 1 in 4,000 drop rate, which you can change between colors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and for making it this far. A massive thank you to all my channel members. You boys and girls have no idea how much your support means to me, and it all goes to feed my family and the 10 donkeys powering up my house. If you would like to support this channel further, click the join button below for a monetary subscription and for a ton of cool perks in the channel and in the Discord. In the next one, I will show you how to get to level 99 smithing in the most efficient way possible, followed by another boss guide where we will see how to dispose of the Dagonoth Kings in quick fashion. Have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.